Hello, my YouTube friends. I am here with a quick, fun, interesting snippet of a really profound insight that I recently had. That was a lot to spit out. I will be making a video shortly on showing my character sheet and how I'm going to level up some of my stats. Not level up, but increase my stats on the way to leveling up. And there's this whole thing that I want to share, but not right now and not today. So it has to do with rest. It has to do with rest. So if anybody knows anything about human design projectors, they need rest like they need anything. And I think that from all the media I've seen on YouTube, there tends to be this like over emphasis on like, oh, you need to sleep and you need to take naps and you need to like not do things. And it's like, I mean, for me, sleep is a priority. I'm very protective about my sleep. I prioritize my sleep and I've always been that way. But once upon a time, I used to think that I had chronic fatigue because it felt like it did. And I did get checked out for some things and everything seemed good in my body. I'm a pretty healthy person and I didn't know until I went on the Projector experiment that I'm not tired. I'm in between experiences. And what I mean by that is this. If I have an experience that feels like exciting, or I'm opening myself up to somebody, or I'm sharing myself in some way, and there's somebody receiving on the other end some of my brilliance, or maybe I'm just making dinner and it's like I'm doing things for other people. I'm putting my energy, out there. Energy's moving. So what I noticed is this. I've been sort of living my life where I'll call an experience that feels like it requires my energy as like a wave. And the wave feels great most of the time. Sometimes they're not good feeling waves, but most of the time I live my life in a way where I'm riding these really good waves and I go from one experience to the other, 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 to the other. And also, I've got little kids. Well, I've got a 7-year-old and a 14-year-old. And so what they need from me is just like its own thing. And with all the boundaries I've put in place in my life, I feel like I've done a pretty darn good job about taking care of me first. Then there's this extra layer. This extra layer is called I'm a projector. Apparently, I don't get like refilled by just working and doing things. So I've been tracking things and I had one whole experience that I'm going to share later, but this is the snippet that will sort of give you a glimpse into what I discovered. I've been jumping waves, wave to wave to wave to wave to wave, and it's very jarring. Like it's very, very jarring. And I've noticed, I know myself well enough that if I'm like in a really good conversation with somebody, the moment I walk away from that person and I'm in my own space, I can feel my energy go like whoosh. And I will essentially carry a sort of fatigueness with me throughout the day from that point on. And even though I'm feeling good, I'll sort of have this like fogginess about me and this feeling of like bleeding out into like, that sounds gross, but it does feel like my energy like is bleeding out. Like it's leaking or something and I don't know why. Well, let me tell you. This combined with drinking water is it for me. It's called capping an experience with the kind of rest that works for me. So when I share this, I want you to think for yourself, like what are ways that I can transition from one activity to another if I'm a person that doesn't transition very smoothly, or I do feel like I get drained from having relatively like good experiences. If you do, you might be a projector. So for me, this is what I found really works. Every so often, it'll be going for a walk if it's nice and sunshiny, but I notice doing anything physical actually makes it worse. what I have been doing lately is I'll finish whatever I'm doing and then I will find a place and a moment of solitude. And this means like 10 minutes, maybe 15, depending what I got. If I can't be alone, I will just like turn around and take that moment for myself. I can always take 5 minutes because I can go to the bathroom and hide there. That's like a mom pro tip. Whenever you need a moment to yourself, hit the bathroom and lock the door. So I take this moment for myself. I close my eyes. I feel my heart center. I feel that sense of my energy, however that looks or feels for me. Usually it's like an ambery or pinkish or goldish sparkly light. And I just call that good shit all back to me. I call it all back and I feel it come back to me. And I just sort of will say something to myself like, this time is for me. I come back to myself. And there's some sort of connection that I'll create with myself where it's like, this is for me, with me. And once I start to feel like that's sort of complete, it doesn't take long. I'll drink my water and I'll just notice that I'm good to go. And now if I'm going to go make dinner or I'm going to go switch gears and go grocery shopping or whatever, take a client, I now am starting with that energy that I had before the last wave. So I'm not jumping waves anymore. I'm riding the wave, pausing, taking that moment so that when I start to go on to my next wave, I've got all of me here. And I feel like I don't totally know how this works. I know I'm explaining it to you in a way of how it feels for me, but it does feel like without those intentional moments of just coming back to me, it does feel like once I've opened myself to somebody, that sort of somewhat stays open. And then as I go around my day, it's like whoever's around is just like getting that. They're just getting it from me. And if you have kids, they'll snatch it up real fast. So the point is that I'm not tired. I'm not a tired person. I am a person who didn't understand how to close in an experience, restore myself from the place of feeling like I got myself back here. Like it's sort of like my life has become so intentional because I'm noticing the value that I'm offering in every single time I share myself. So when I get off this video, which is like in a moment, I'm going to finish this video with taking that moment back to myself. And honestly, it could even just be like a minute that I do, depending on how things are feeling and how long I've been with something. But like, for instance, I'm doing this video by myself in my room. It's not a big deal, but I do still feel like it feels stronger and more clear inside of me to just be aware that I'm gonna calibrate to something different next. So with that different next thing, I'm bringing all of myself into it and not leaving some of it behind. And I really, really think this is a video that you're either gonna like feel into what I'm saying and get it, or maybe it's just not for you, or maybe you totally feel the same. So whatever the case is, this is just me tracking my what rest feels like to me. Obviously, good sleep hygiene is I can't compromise on that. I've always been that way, always known it. But this is more about me keeping my vitality throughout the day and then noticing, hey, if I've done this a few times and I'm entering into my next segment, my next wave, and I'm really not feeling good, maybe that's that time to just like say no to this and, you know, adjust how I'm going to do my day. So food for thought, but like definitely this experience I'm going to share with you on my video when we do the character sheet. I'm going to give you like a vividly crazy sort of dramatic example of how this worked for me. And yeah, I think that's all. So yay, I'm not tired. I don't have chronic fatigue. I just needed to learn that I don't jump waves like a maniac, that I actually have to find my rhythm and have like really sweet moments in between the experiences. Go me. Okay, that's my share. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you are a projector, How do you manage your energy? How do you feel like you get to keep yourself where it needs to be while being such a gift and sharing? Um, Also, thoughts and feelings. Please share. Share the channel. If there's any one that you feel like would have fun um, on like the character sheet side of just how to track and like level up your life for fun, or human design, curiosities, projects, things like that. Not projects, experiments. Okay, that's it. I did a video. I shared it with you. I'm doing the thing. Character sheet comes next. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm going to share a couple things and then show you how I'm going to add points to certain stats and then eventually level up. So that's a wrap, my friends. I'll catch you on the next one.